Hi everyone, so today I have a very special guest on the channel. She's a YouTuber, blogger, and now a speaker at the Affiliate Gathering event, and it's Emilia Gardner.
Good morning, Carl. Thank you for having me on the show on for an interview on your channel.
Yes, thank you for coming. We chat a lot, we do a lot of streams together, but it's usually me being interviewed by you, so this is a bit of a first for me. So it's lovely to have you on my channel for once.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious how this is going to go because usually we have like this banter back and forth, but if it's an actual like formal interview, I'm curious if if you'll be able to actually ask questions and then give me a chance to answer them versus like rushing in to like help me answer them. So I'm just really curious how this will play
Well,
out.
me and you and formal doesn't usually go together. We've done a few streams where you've been in onesies and I've been in a corn mask costume. So, formal and me and you doesn't go together. So we'll keep this really friendly. So I really wanted, obviously, just to get you on the channel to talk about the event. So you've graciously agreed to fly like halfway around the world to be at the event, the Affiliate Gathering Expo that I'm running here in the UK on Friday the 20th of May this year, 2022. So I just wanted to ask you a few questions and give the viewers a bit of an insight to what may be happening and why you've agreed to come. So let's make that the first question. Why did you actually agree to come to the event?
The primary reason is that you asked me. I mean, I know that that sounds really simple, but what I really believe is that, and why I spend so much time on YouTube is that relationships are really important. And so, but for the fact that it was you and this was your affiliate gathering, I really doubt that I would be flying around the world. If somebody random that I did not know was saying, "Hey, I'm having an affiliate marketing conference in X place, and we want you to come," I'm not sure that I would be, even if they were offering to pay for travel, just because the primary reason for me to go is that you're there
Yeah.
and these other people that I know are there. So when I say the reason I'm coming is you asked me, I really mean it.
Well, that's very gracious of you, and thank you for that. Somebody else actually said that the other day that they were surprised I'd got so many people to actually attend, being the first event I've ever put together. And obviously, I'm relatively new in this space anyway, so I think it just shows the value in building, community and an audience, and really kind of being helpful. And I think. If I'm honest, you was on my list from day one. There was you and about three others that was the first ones on the list. I think the reason for that, for me, the reason I wanted you there is because I think you and your story and mine are very, very similar. I think people can relate to how you started and how I started. We was both kind of in corporate jobs. I mean, and then we quit and started blogging and doing YouTube, which sounds crazy, right? So tell the audience a little bit about yourself. How did that happen? What job was you doing, and what made you get into this business?
Well, I took a break from practicing law after almost 10 years. And it wasn't something that I was planning to do. I had small children at the time, and it just made sense based on what was going on to just take a break, to just step away. So I didn't have like this crazy like drive. I didn't need to make money at the moment, right? I didn't need to support my family at the moment. I just had a small child and two other children and some time. And I thought, I should try to make some money. I should. I mean, and over time, it became more necessary for me to make money to support my family and the rest. But at the time, it was like, I'm just really interested to see if this could work. And I'm at home and I'm used to using my brain at a high level, and right now it is mush. And all I do is, pick this up and put it over here and clean that and feed that, and that's my day. And so I stumbled. I got caught. I got snagged by the marketing strategies that you may observe now on YouTube. I got snagged by one of those genius ads, and then fell down the rabbit hole. Almost 4 years later, here I am.
Yeah, I mean, did you do the same thing as me? Because I was talking about this just the other day, where I actually started by typing, those dreaded words that you expect to get some really crazy results. How to make money online. That's what I typed in Google, and I was fortunate enough not to be hit by, a lot of these, fake gurus and courses that charge $10,000 and promise you the world. I was fortunate enough to land in the right community, which was Alex over at WP Eagle. So it was Alex, and then closely followed by Income School. And I fell into the right communities right at the very beginning. So kind of I wasn't tainted by all these promises of overnight riches and things like that. So did you do the same? Then did you type kind of how to make money online, business
No,
online?
no, I did the opposite. I got snagged and fell into the communities
You
where
did
you don't
that
want
right.
to go. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And it took me a while of sort of wading through to find a good community to be in, but it definitely there were several starts and stops as a result. Now, I won't say that I regret that. I mean, I'm certainly I wish that some of that money that was spent wasn't spent. Like I could unspend it
Yeah,
and use it to invest in other things, but it was part of the education. And so
yeah,
that time spent, maybe a year of spinning my wheels, is part of the foundation of what I do now and how I'm able to continue working every day. Is because that year's foundation I spent sort of trying to figure things out helps me now get to the computer every day
mm,
and helps me see, okay, if I just keep going, if I just keep getting up and coming to the computer and trying to learn something new, that I will move this whole project forward, because I certainly did it wrong for close to 2 years, probably close to 2 years.
so why kind of niche websites? Why blogs? Was that just a niche that you found with your initial searches online, or why not e-commerce? Why not drop shipping? What made you actual go into to blogs?
I did all those things, right?
Right.
I
Okay.
did I did drop shipping. I had a Shopify store. I did Facebook ads. I did all of them. And in the end, what worked, the blogging stuff worked for me mostly because of my personality and because of the lifestyle I want to have. I don't want to do community service.
Mhm.
I mean, I do community service, but I don't want to do customer service is what I should
Yeah.
say. I don't want to be sitting by the computer all night answering questions for people like, why didn't this get here? And like trying to order something from another country and have it shipped here and like having to deal with this. And like, I wanted to have something that I could set and then
Yeah.
forget.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can't leave it for years and not touch it. But if I have something to do today and I'm away from my computer today, nobody is going to do a chargeback to my credit card processor or to my Stripe account and cause me to lose my business because I wasn't there to respond to their drama about the shipping package that UPS said that they delivered, but it didn't.
Yeah.
And whose fault is it? And I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
So that is why truly websites worked out for me, is because I tried the other thing
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
realized that it was not, just didn't meet my needs.
It's definitely a riskier element to go into online. I was exactly the same. I did try it. I started off with blogs, and then I slowly got them videos creeping in on my YouTube feed. And I thought, oh, drop shipping, it sounds fantastic. Researched a product. It was only like a $3 product that you could sell for $19.99. It sounded amazing. Set up the website. I run some Facebook ads. I set myself a budget. I put something like $500 into Facebook, and I thought I'd set it to run for a week. And I pressed go at 9 p.m. on like the Monday night. I woke up Tuesday morning, account zero. It used all my Facebook credits in like less than 24 hours, 12 hours. I spent $500 while I was asleep, and looked at my sales, and I'd made 2 sales, $40. I thought, yeah, well, at least it does actually get sales. And then lo and behold, 2 weeks later, they were both refunded. So I realized, wow, that is a really risky business. And I'm not. It does work. There are people who make some fantastic money with it, but it is such a slog and a learning curve to get to the point of success that you have to risk a lot of money. So yeah, it wasn't something I was prepared to do either. Blogs definitely suited me. Like you say, the harder you work with the content, the more content you produce, the more helpful you are, the more your website grows, and that traffic and the revenue just comes in. So like I say, it's not totally passive, but it certainly is a lot more passive than dealing with, where's mine was a Hoover, like a vacuum cleaner attachment. It's like, where's that gone? It's somewhere around the world. So
Yeah, for me, it's not. I never really think about it being passive. I just think about it as having more control, because
yeah,
for me, there's nothing about this business that is passive. I probably work harder doing this than I would be if I had my regular, 8 to 5 job, because it's at home and I can work easily, here, there, and everywhere. It's Saturday. I'm working today, right? Normally
Yeah.
you'd be off taking your weekend. So it's more about the time freedom and the control.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was one of my questions on my list to ask you. So, like, I was going to ask you, what does this job give you that your previous job couldn't give you? And vice versa, there might be some things in that job, because I know there is with mine. There are elements of my corporate job that, I do miss, but there are far more things I love about this business. What do you think, like, say, that you're getting out of this business that you definitely wouldn't get out of your other job?
I mean, it's a quality of life
Mm,
situation where I can put my family and like I don't necessarily put my personal stuff first, but my family and my kids, I'm able to flex around them so that I can do my work when I don't need to be with my
yeah.
family. Now, you say, okay, maybe there's some things that you miss from your corporate job, and as an attorney before, I think one of the things that I profoundly miss is having like an impact, right? Like really getting to help people who really need help. I mean, it was a business, right? It was about making money, but in the end of the day, even though money was transacted, that you were doing something to help someone who really needed that help, right? So there was this personal satisfaction from not only is my job making money, but these people needed help that they couldn't get anywhere else. I mean, they could, but I was able to use what I know, what I spent all that money to learn to make their life better,
Yeah.
theoretically,
Yeah.
right? It wasn't that way for every client, but they come to you sometimes in the worst of days, right? In the worst of times, like they feel like their life could not be any worse right now, and they go to somebody, and that person can help them through that, and then their life is profoundly better at the end. So I don't have that now.
Yeah, I mean, you may not have that through your blog, but certainly through your YouTube channel, you are still helping people. You are definitely supporting people and even changing people's lives. I know it might sound a little cliche to say that, and people think, "Well, what? She's helping people build a website and it's changed their lives." Well, yeah, because it did with me. Ricky and Jim, came and gave me some training here in my home, and that 100% changed my life. There's no way I'd be sat here now doing an interview with you. I've published like several posts this morning on my blog. I wouldn't be doing any of this without their intervention, without meeting them and having that support and that community. So, I do think you are still making a difference in people's lives. Like I say, some people may not say, okay, she was an attorney and helping somebody write a blog post isn't the same thing. I get it, but I definitely think you do still make a change and a difference in people's lives. So, I think certainly what you're doing on your YouTube channel, I'm on it all the time. I'm on your live streams. And by the way, if anybody hasn't jumped on a live stream with Amelia, you definitely should do. They are fun, but I see the comments in there all the time that's saying, nearly always it's thank you, thanks for that, Amelia, thanks for the support. And I don't think you should underestimate that.
Well, here's the thing, though. I think YouTube, and just because we're working here on the computer, is it's not always you can't always see the tangible evidence of that. And also, I think my ego is like that big around, and so I don't necessarily think of it that way, right? But because I live stream selfishly, I live stream because that is part of my accountability plan.
Mhm.
Like it's part of what gets me going here, because I dislike to publicly fail at stuff, right? I dislike to not do the things that I say that I'm going to do. And so that is truly where the live streams like grew from. And so the fact that selfishly streaming might be helping people kind of blows my mind a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I know you kind of don't figure out how important you are in some people's lives because I get the same reaction, and you are. People say that I don't do anything. I just do YouTube and stuff, but you'd be amazed at the support that you are offering people. I mean, to be honest, that's one of the reasons why I set up my YouTube channel was basically for me to document exactly the same you, just for me to document what I was doing and have some kind of accountability. And crazy as it seems, a lot of my failures have been my big successes because they have helped people more because I've stopped them making the same mistake or hopefully helped them avoid that. And that can be financial. So, you can be talking about stopping somebody who's earning a small amount of money each month, a 9 to 5 job, and are desperately trying to get out of that rat race. And you have helped them by saving them money or pointing them in the right direction. And I think people are really, really appreciative. And you get, like I say, you get a lot of comments. You probably get emails. I get emails, messages of people saying, thank you, and that was really good advice. That was very honest of you to say that. And I think that's one of the biggest parts about being online YouTuber, blogger. Somebody puts themselves out there is by sharing with your community. And that's one of the reasons, to be honest, why I did this whole event. I want community to be bigger and more accessible, because I think there's far too many people sat at home behind their computer trying to make this work, struggling and just, really needing somebody to reach out to. And like I say, it's a very personal thing, is blogging. You'll know yourself, you keep everything close to your chest. You don't want to tell anybody your secrets. You can't do that. Can't tell them your niche, your keywords. It's all very secretive. But there's actually a lot of help out there. And I think this event is one way where people can come along, meet people, build that community. I mean, I don't know about you, but I mean, I will be, taking so many names and, email addresses while I'm there. I think it's a perfect place to actually, build that, they used to call it a little black book of contacts. What are you kind of expecting at the event? Are you hoping to grow your community? Hopefully you're going to meet some of your community there. What are you thinking the event will actually kind of do for you, and what do you think it can do for others that's attending?
Well, there's 3 or 4 things that I thought of, and I'm sitting here like trying to remember them to make sure I address them. One, I was thinking that you should have a small business card, right? And then it has your details, so then instead of let me get out my phone and
Yeah.
people should come with their cards, right? They
Mm.
should have their name, their picture on them, their email address or YouTube channel or something, so that you make the connection and you hand them the card. That's like the old school lawyer thing. Like they used to send us out with a package of cards, and our
Yeah.
goal every month was to give them all away,
Yeah.
right? To give them to people that you meet. And I used to say, I used to give clients or people that I had just met, I said, here's 3 cards. So I would give them 3. They'd be like, why do I need 3? I said,
Hand them out.
you need, you need one for your wallet, you need one for the fridge, and you need one for the car, because most likely you'll need this card when you're either at home and can't find your wallet, in the car and can't find your wallet, or out in the world and without your car or your refrigerator. And so they'd be like, oh, okay. But you could just, you hand out multiple cards. You're like, here, hand it to somebody else, and
Yeah.
then see where those cards end up. It would be kind of cool. In fact,
Yeah.
I should probably take my own advice and make some
Yeah,
cards.
well, I actually had this thought, I think yesterday or the day before, and I thought to myself, do people still have business cards? Or is it all, high tech? Is it QR, like scan my phone, tap my phone, whatever you do? And I just thought, yeah, I did actually think, why don't we just tell everybody, just bring some business cards and, and write them out? Because, yeah, it is,
We could.
one of the people who's helping me run the event, she said, it's like, fill your little black book. And I was like, what, like a file of facts? What are we, in the 70s now? Surely it's like scan your QR or something, QR code or something. Yeah.
If it is, I will not be with it. I will be old school. I will probably shake hands and use card. Um, I was going back though to talking about the community part, and I was thinking as you were talking about it, about the question that I often get asked first when people join the community, and they always ask about the tools, right? Or they
Mm,
start asking about hosting or some of the technical aspects, and those are rarely ever the thing that makes a difference.
changes. Hmm.
And I wish that people would come and say, instead of asking my opinion about which hosting they should use, they should ask me. And if people do ask me this, I will try to help them. Do you know of anybody's group that I could join? Or do you know of any sort of like accountability group that I could join?
Hmm.
I run my spreadsheet accountability group, but
Yeah.
it is, you can't always interact with people that well. And I truly, truly believe that my success, or I'm going to put up my air quotes, my business really started to gain traction when I actually started speaking one on one to people,
Hmm.
or in groups of 2 or 3, not just like on the messenger, but actually started having these sorts of meetings
Yeah.
with people. And that turned the key. It really did. So I would say that it is more important than hosting, more important than any tool that you could keyword research, spending money on things. If you can get on a call once a month with someone who is around where you are, or maybe even a little ahead of you, I think it will change the trajectory of your whole project.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, 100% agree. Like I say, the 2 days I spent with Ricky and Jim at the time was, like I say, life changing for me. What I learned, I couldn't have done that on, via emails. I couldn't have done that from listening to their videos. That little snippets, them little bits of golden nuggets where you can say, "Oh, sorry, wait a minute, just explain that again," and they can go into more detail. And I have chats, like I say, my community off air. I have chats with people like, Morton and Sean Mars. And I had a chat with Sean Mars for a couple of hours the other day. And it's amazing just listening to him, what you learn. Such a knowledgeable guy, an experienced guy. And you can't get that from emails and newsletters and things like that. So I think that's where, like I say, I hope people attending and people who are tuning into the affiliate gathering, I hope they do ask questions. I hope people go out of their comfort zone and come over, shake us and ask us questions. Do not be afraid. I know people might see people like Ricky from Income School and go, "Oh my goodness, can't go up to him." Go up to him. Trust me, he's just a guy. We'll talk about all the normal things. Just go up to him, say hi, ask him questions. And I think the community side of it, like I say, it cannot be underestimated. I wouldn't be where I am now, and I will put a lot of credit down to people like Phil, who's my hosting and technical kind of advisor, does literally everything for me. Alex, Sean Mars, Ricky. There's so many people that I can just jump on a call with.
For me and for other people who are going in, like one of my goals, I think, by going to this is potentially to make contacts to create maybe I don't want to say, I hate the word mastermind,
A
right? Like,
network. Yeah, no, it's fine.
but to create maybe another small group,
Mm-hmm.
for me I don't want to say lean on, but to interact with on a regular basis, like to look for people
Mm-hmm.
who could potentially I could support and they could support me. And if I was somebody coming into affiliate gathering who maybe only knew a couple of people, or I didn't really know people, like I would be aggressively, like friendlyly, but aggressively looking for people that I could gel with, that I could speak to, that I could then continue to speak with on a more involved level. I mean, that would be aside from going to the presentations, aside from shaking hands, just because of what I know has worked for me, and frankly, that's what I will be doing. There is looking for other people that I want to connect with more consistently. Maybe for the next 12 months, maybe until the next conference that I go to meet more people. And I really think that the gathering should have like a board, like not like a jobs board, but like I'm looking for board. So like hey, I let me know if you're interested in X. Like doing we are based in India and need
Yeah,
a time zone. Like you could sign up like interest lists,
yeah.
for each of the time zones, like UK time zone. And then, the poor Kiwis are always like screwed because they are asleep when everybody else is awake and needs to meet. Like, okay, here's some people in a time zone who are looking to form small groups to talk, and maybe that would give them an idea, because otherwise you're like left trying to walk up to somebody, introduce yourself, and they're like, weird.
Yeah, well, actually, it's a really good idea. We could have like hotels. When you stay at a hotel, they have a guest book. We could have like guest books for each region. So if you are interested in making new friends, contacts, put your email address on here. That's a great idea. There we go.
You could help them form like small groups of four. You say,
Yeah,
hey, would you be interested in doing like a twice monthly meeting for, you could just set it for like 3 months. So people are committing to 6 sessions. And after that, if they don't like each other, then they're like,
yeah, yeah,
but you say, hey, would you commit to us just creating this? And then, you drop them, you set up their schedule for them, and then you guys set up Zoom, you guys do everything, you put them in a Discord together. And then once they're in, like, you're like, see you later, good luck. And then see what comes of it. And those people will talk to somebody that they have never talked to before, or maybe they will form relationships, or maybe they will hate each other and never speak again. But
Well, I mean, there are bigger plans for the affiliate gathering, not just this one event. So I'm trying to organise more local events in people's own countries and regions where people can meet up, because this all started with me just wanting to meet up with about 20 people. We was just literally going to get together in a pub and chat shop and, talk work. And that's how it basically started, and it grew to one bigger event. But I'm hoping there's going to be lots more smaller events that branch off from these, hopefully on a regular basis throughout the year. So that might be part of the website. In hopefully after the event, we're going to work on that side of the business, because I do think I'm doing it out of, I want to meet people. I want this to happen. I want to go to London and meet up with 20 bloggers and YouTubers. I want to do that. I want to go up to Scotland and meet people up there. So I think it is a really good platform that hopefully we're going to have, where people can connect, and no matter where they are, you will be able to post on the website and say, hey, I live in Canada, anybody in Vancouver area, wherever, you want to meet up? And hopefully people can arrange it and organize it through the affiliate gathering. So yeah, watch out for that to come. Hopefully that's something else to keep me busy. Like, I haven't got a million other things to do.
well, that's really interesting that you say that. It's actually a great tactic, and it's like podcasting, right? You let's say that I see somebody I admire in our community, and I want to just talk to them, right? I send them an email, a cold DM. It says, "Hey, will you jump on Zoom with me?" They don't respond, right? Their VA like filters that, just goes straight to spam. They don't have a chance. It's not worth their time. But then you email them and say, I have a podcast. I'd really like to talk to you on Zoom. And they're like, hey,
Yeah,
let's they don't want to know how many people are coming or will be listening. They just hear, oh, podcast, and then you have the same conversation,
mm-hmm.
which is one of the reasons why I started a podcast a while back. Is just I wanted to talk to people, right? So it gives people an excuse. So if I called up Alex, right, and I just said, "Hey, I'm coming to Spain, and I'd like to meet with you," and be like, I mean, he knows me now, and I have his shirt, so he'd probably say, "Okay," but
Got to allow you in.
um, but it's like you just say, "I'm coming to meet you," and they'd be like, "Weird." But you say, "Hey, would you like to be a speaker at this thing, and I will meet you?" And they're like, "Sure,
Yeah,
yeah, I will spend money to come there." Not
yeah.
only will they come there, but they will use their own resources to do it. So it's a really great way to get like FaceTime with people that you probably wouldn't have.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, it's, I've met so many people through doing this that, if I'd have just locked myself away and just done blogging, which, I can do, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Just get your head down, build your business, focus on what you need to do. There's no harm in doing that. Some people do want to reach out and meet other people. Some people do want to lock themselves away. Trust me, there are so many bloggers that I know that don't go on any Facebook groups, don't go on any Discord groups. They just want to lock themselves away. And that's kind of why they got away from their corporate jobs to literally be at home. No, don't have to do any Zoom calls. They don't have to do any of that. They want to lock themselves away. But I think, like I say, I think there's so much benefit in connecting with people, especially, like I say, on a one-on-one and in person if you can. There's no better way of doing that, because, like I say, you pick up so much more talking to somebody in person. You certainly really do. So the past year, what's gone on kind of you and your business? So we all know 2021 was being hectic, roller coaster ride of the year. I've been doing this 4 years, and I think last year was the most, turbulent year we've ever had. What have you learned from last year, if at all you've learned anything? Because I think a lot of us are still very confused about last year. And if you have learned anything, what are you doing this year that you can either implement or you've learned from previous years?
I've always been somebody that liked to do a lot of things and a lot of different things. And one of the reasons that I wanted to practice law and then practice law for almost 10 years was there's a lot of variety, right? So in any given day I could work on, and I had a general practice, so that meant that I needed to have expertise in multiple areas, in criminal defense and in civil law and family law and probate and all these different things, right? And so it was always really interesting. But when you come over to making money online, it having that sort of mindset and focus, I've learned, and I have been vocal about my interest in, diversification and having lots of income streams. Yeah, that's great. But it's really difficult to build all these streams at the same time. And my focus, my spread out focus, uh, wasn't working. And I
Mhm.
finally in 2021, it was one of my goals in January of 2021. I said the mantra, the theme for the year is going to be I'm just going to just focus on one of these things. And so the podcast went out the window, and I post on YouTube once or twice a month now. I went over there, and it's just I put away a lot of things. I just said I'll get to you later, and then just really focused on one site solid for 12 months, and just what I was able to do with all of my attention on one site. What I learned is that I have been too spread out, and
Mhm.
I went through this, mentally, like why can't I have what those guys have? Like they're not any smarter than me. I work hard too. Why do these guys have something I don't? And for me, I discovered in 2021 is that I was too spread out. It's okay to have multiple streams going and to be building multiple things, but you have to put enough energy into something
Mhm.
to make it grow. And I had just never done that. So the experiment was, what if I pour more energy into one thing for a longer period of time, and what will happen? And turns out, pouring more of my energy into one thing produced a lot of momentum. And
Yeah.
so 2022 is about taking that momentum and then riding with it, running with it, and continuing to see where it can go if I continue to put that same amount of energy into that project or into this strategy for
Yeah.
another year. Let's see what happens with. Okay, this is 12 months. This is how I did. Now let's see where I'm at in 24.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That word you've mentioned a few times there, focus, is actually it's written in the front of my diary. It is something this year that I literally, and you'd be surprised how many YouTubers have also said that word focus, because I think we are often spreading ourselves too thin. And when we say diversification, that might mean different things for different people. It might mean that they build different websites in different niches. For us, it might be, okay, I've got a YouTube channel, I've got a podcast, I've got a newsletter, I've got a website. It might be all these various things. And I noticed it for me last year when a few people started commenting on my income report. And everyone was saying, wow, your income reports are fantastic. They're going up and up and up every month, which is great. But a few people were quite clever and spotted that, wait a minute, your income from your blogs is dropping and your affiliate income is going up. Shouldn't it be the other way around? Surely your safety net is your websites that bring in relatively passive income each month. Shouldn't they be growing along with your affiliate income? And that's when I realized, do you know what? I'm spreading myself all over the place here. I'm trying to do newsletters. I've got 9 websites. I've got YouTube channel. I've got all these different things, Discord groups, the lot. And I said the same thing. I promised myself this year I would focus on 2 things. Number 1, the affiliate gathering event, making sure this is a success. We've got 4 months now till it launches. That is my focus. And then just putting my head down and simplifying my blogs, just really focusing on what matters, which is basically content. Yeah, that's literally all I am focusing on at the minute. Because I think we can make this business really, really complicated when it's actually the simplest business going. And I try and tell this to people all the time. Told it to my son recently. You figure out a niche, and you should be able to do that within a few weeks at the most. I know people who's been figuring their niche out for a year, and they're either only just decided to do it or they're still thinking about it a year later. You need to get some simple hosting, a simple theme, do some very basic keyword research, and start writing. It's as simple as that. So what does this year look like? And apart from your blogs that you're going to focus on, is there anything else you have planned, or is that it? Is it just head down, focus on your websites?
Yes.
Good answer. I hope you was going to say that.
Yes.
Yeah. So, have you learned any new strategies with your website? Are you doing anything differently?
I feel like that attitude is something that it's entrepreneurial. I think many of us we're in this because we have this entrepreneurial spirit, like continually trying to do things better, do things differently. And no, I'm not doing anything different. I'm going to continue to grind it out and not go hunting for new strategies and to do things differently. I'm certain that there are better strategies out there. I'm certain that there are better techniques and all the rest. But for me, those are a distraction.
Hmm.
And it takes me back to an interview I did with Jared Krause from Buying Online Businesses. I think I asked him, I said, "Hey, Jared, from where you're standing, can you look ahead and see, any sort of, new trends and all this stuff?" And he was like, kind, but it was a little set down. He's like, that mindset of continually looking for
Yeah.
the next big thing, it's like that holds you back from really picking a strategy and really becoming successful at it, because your focus and your time and your attention is diverted to that. So I'm not watching YouTube videos about, do this in 2022, and I'm not looking for new ways to do the same thing I'm already doing. I'm just going to stay the course
Yeah.
and do this thing and accept that maybe I'm missing out on the gold rush somewhere else. Like, I'm okay with that. I feel like when you're first coming into a business, especially this business, it must look like some of these ladies and gentlemen who are really successful and who share their progress on YouTube. It must look like they jumped in on the gold rush,
Hmm.
right? It must look like they won the lottery, that they just got in at the right time. And it's like buying Bitcoin at like $1, right? Those guys are billionaires now. And you must think, oh, like, how lucky are they? But at the time, it wasn't a gold rush
Hmm.
situation. It probably, for these folks, it was a natural progression about where their business was at, and they just continued to invest in something, and it grew. Like all of these people that we know that have 5, 6 figure businesses have been doing this for years,
Yeah. Yeah.
for the most part. And there's the folks that manage to come in quickly and grow quickly, and good on them. But for the most part, what looks like the lottery, what looks like the windfall, is actually a lot of work and being in the business
Yeah.
and continuing to ride the trends. So for me, I think of, okay, and to take advantage of the gold rush for me is to continue to do the work and put in the time, and I'm hopeful, right? I come in with the best mindset possible, the most hopeful, positive, looking forward mindset, that in a couple of years, if I stick it out, that I will probably look like I got in just
Yeah.
the right time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, there is. We know there's a process. I say this to people. There is a process. It's a tried and tested process, and if you just focus on that, which, like I say, is doing just all the basics well and repeat them, and if you stick to that process, it does work. You don't have to look for that. That one plugin that's going to, change your life, or that one tool that's going to just suddenly bring you 1 million visitors a month, when you've currently got 100. It's just not going to happen. It's just consistency and just showing up every day and putting that hard work in. So, Emilia, I won't keep you much longer. I'm thankful that you could join me today. It's really nice of you to do that. If anybody wants to reach out to you, where is the best place they can contact you, watch you, see your content? Where's the best place?
Right now, the best place is to come to YouTube. I am certain that there will be links to both of my channels in the description of this video. But people who want to talk to me, the best place is to come to a live stream, because I feel like people send me one-on-one emails, and oftentimes their questions are the same that other people would have.
Yeah.
And so I ask them to come to the live stream and present your question there. And if people say, "Oh, well, the stuff that I want to send you is personal, right? It's my URL, my website, all those things," then you shouldn't be sharing it with me, because I'm a stranger.
Yeah.
Like, don't just send your URL to somebody that you haven't had a chance to talk to, that you don't trust, that it's one thing if you're going to pay them for their expertise, but if this is the first time I've spoken to you and I haven't seen you in the live stream, then people should be cautious about just plopping their personal details into an email.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you don't know who's in the audience, who's. We always say there's often people lurking, isn't there, in the backgrounds of streams. We know they're there. We always say, pop out, say something, say hi, but they're just lurking there in the background. and you don't know
Mhm.
who they are. But
Mhm.
I mean, certainly your live streams are fun, and I'm in there as much as possible. Anybody who goes in there for the first time will often see a lot of conversations around what I'm having for tea, well, which is another story for another day.
Like people, like you can learn there, but it's not like I sit and present
Yeah,
like things. Like I leave that to the people on YouTube who are
yeah,
way better at that. Mostly you come to the live stream to shoot the breeze and
yeah,
hang out with people. It's like a hangout more than it is like
yeah.
a an educational presentation. If that's what you're expecting.
The same with me. Don't come to my channel for that. We're both exactly in the same niche there. We're not tutorial type people. But you learn so
Hmm.
much just from the comments. That's what I do. Just like say, being in the comments, you learn so much. And that's where I think it is valuable. Like I say, people will learn something just tuning in, having fun, meeting new people. But you'll see in them comments, there's little snippets in there that are just great to pick up on. So I do recommend anybody checks it out. So now, like I said, you will obviously be there on stage in May, so I can't wait to meet you. Please, whoever's attending in person, do come up to Emilia, do say hi. I will probably be running around like a headless chicken on the day. Who knows what I'll be doing, but come and say hi to me as well. It'd be great to meet you all. There are links for the tickets as well in the description, and if you do click that link from this video, please tick the box that says, who did you hear this event from? Tick Emilia, please, and that'd be good if you can do that. Well, Emilia, thank you for joining me. It's been really nice talking. And the shoes on the other foot, me interviewing you, that is a first for me. So
Yeah,
thank you
how
for
was
doing
it?
that.
How was it harder? Was it harder than you thought?
Yeah, it's definitely hard. I'd rather just sit there and drink tea and answer questions. But it is still enjoyable. I knew it's always fun talking to you. So I appreciate that. I appreciate how easy you make it for me.
No problem, Carl. Thank you for having me.
Thanks very much for being on the show. Thank you. Bye bye.